the displaced person, our displacement in the world, kind of being who we are as creatures and not the creator. And of course, illness, sickness. I mean, these two things are exactly what I am existentially feeling. And I think that in some ways, Flannery O'Connor has given us an opportunity to kind of say, wait a minute, here's somebody who's pretty well grounded and grounded with a lot of humor that way too. I wanted to share that one famous line though she says, and I know that Elizabeth, you're going to help us out with a little bit of a clip, but she's talking about being sick, and her quote is, she's writing to her friend, I have never been anywhere but sick. In a sense, sickness is a place more instructive than a long trip to Europe. And I was thinking that the coronavirus in some ways and all these quarantines going on here and around the world, and certainly they kind of make us feel like we know that sickness is a place. Sickness is definitely now a place, a space, and we have to get used to being there. In some ways, we're there alone and isolated, except through literature, except through art, except through connectivity through the internet and things like that. You want to show that little bit of the clip of the film, though, Elizabeth?
Absolutely, and I think it's got the score, the music from the wonderful composer Miriam Cutler, who I think may be online. So let me
Fantastic.
try.
In a sense, sickness is a place more instructive than a long trip to Europe. It's a place where there's no company, where nobody can follow.
It's just a wonderful moment with wonderful voice and music and words. These, Flannery was diagnosed and sickened in her mid-20s with lupus, and she knew from that age on that really it was death sentence in a way hanging over her. But she just kept working. She finished Wise Blood, and she just kept going with all of her fiction. So I think for all of us, I know for me and Mark, it was really an inspiring moment and a lovely one to have in the film that we hope is going to, we've gotten into film festivals all over the country at this point. Everything is on hold or has been pushed back a few months as we're struggling to get through this quarantine and working on a broadcast deal. So for all of you fans who really want to see the film, we hope within a few months we'll be back on the road and either at a film festival or possibly in a theater near you, and then eventually on television for you. So thanks for being patient with it. And we will continue to show in our social media through Instagram, and Facebook, video excerpts throughout this time when we're home. So we're actively working on those moments too. And you can see the great animation from, I see Kathleen Judge is here online with us, and you can see her poster behind me, as well as art from other great artists who are in the film with us. I had just a quote from The Habit of Being. I was going to read just an excerpt from. These
Great.
are Flannery's letters, and she was writing close to the end of her life when she had surgery that had re-triggered her lupus, and this is in June of 1964. And she was writing to her close friend Marriott Lee, who was the last person she wrote before she died. This is a couple of months before that happened. And I found this to be emblematic of her perspective and sense of humor. She says to Marriott, I asked the doctor today when I could go home. Well, he says, we can begin to think about it now. Well, you begin, says I. I've been thinking about it all the time. So we're beginning to think about it. And then she goes on to talk about, he's put her on a less rigid, salt-free diet down, and Marriott had sent her a photo, I think. Further down in the letter, Flannery writes, I got your number down, but I won't call you. I can't afford it, but even if I could, I don't think I could master the technical end of it yet. That debilitates me to think of. This is the phone. That child in the picture is you, all right. She's referencing this photograph Mariette sent. I'd have known you right off. Very happy looking child. It's fortunate we didn't get together at that age. We would have blown something up. I would have found the matches and let you light the fuse.
That's great. Yeah, one of the things I really love about working with you, Elizabeth, and we're doing this film is that Flannery O'Connor is such a contemporary person. Every time something happens in our world, especially in our nation, our country, I think, oh my gosh, Flannery O'Connor kind of explored that in her short stories, explored that in her friendships with letters. I mean, whether it's, racism and Black Lives Matter, now to a kind of a sense of illness and disease and pandemic, kind of siding up or animating kind of how we think about illness in her own life. Certainly her humor and wit is kind of keeping a lot of us going. So I think the film does a pretty good job of all those things. And I'm so excited that we can kind of have this almost like chemistry going on in the film on those things. And
her fiction, I just was speaking with Courtney from Better Angels. Let me give a shout out to the Better Angels.
Yes, absolutely.
Online with us, and who was talking about how she had the book of fiction, the book of O'Connor's fiction next to her bed and was reading it and found it comforting. And I too find it really comforting right now as somebody who, stood up, found humor and persevered and got a lot of great work done in the face of staying at home a lot, in the bedroom with a computer, and accomplished just these magnificent things that continue to inspire us and give us some hope.
Yeah. And there's a lot still going on. That we have our film, of course, going to all these festivals that are postponed. There's a Flannery O'Connor conference in Toronto in June, dedicated to her, about 100 fans, aficionados, critics coming together. The film is supposed to show there if June is open for Canada, who knows. This film has been invited to another conference in Dublin. So our Miss O'Connor, our Irish American, will be part of another literary conference in Dublin. And hopefully,
woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. So I do think it's so fascinating that, she's ours as Americans, but she's also, people are looking at her, reading her in Spain, in England, in Italy, in Canada. And so I hope that.
Just got a request from someone in Brazil who's interested in showing the film. So we
and somebody in Colombia too, down in South America as well. So it's amazing. I want to read one poem. Angela O'Donnell doesn't know this, but there's a poem that I want to read. It's called Flannery's Fire. And what Angela did, so this is a big shout out for Angela. I'm not even sure she's on, but I've been reading one of these poems a day, and she takes a quote from Flannery O'Connor's letters or stories, and then she kind of tries to inhabit the voice or at least the space of Flannery O'Connor in this sonnet. And this is called Flannery's Fire. And it's from the line from A Good Man It's Hard to Find, one that Elizabeth and I really loved, and it's in our film. The trees were full of silver white sunlight, and the meanest of them sparkled. And the poem to respond to that. That's the beauty of it, living here where the sun comes daily and the trees seem lit from within, some secret fire igniting the world which sparks but does not flame. The same fire's inside me, so I know what it is to burn low with no one seeing the quiet glory you are. How bright your leaves and every polished stem just gleaming in the white light. What it means to be mean and still lovely, and loved by the maker who made you that way, full of wanderlust and mad hot wit. It's not something you see every day unless you live here. So I stay. Anyway, I think it's a really great poem.
Show the cover of the book, Mark.
Yeah, it's a great book. So, but really, Angela's been a big Flannery fan and a scholar really of her work too, up in Fordham. So happy to share that with her. And of course we have the cake. And I don't know, Elizabeth, are we singing happy birthday?
I think we should.
I think we should. So wherever you are on Facebook or on Zoom or whatever, sing along. We'll do it. Should I lead, Elizabeth?
Yes, you should.
Okay.
Definitely. You're better at singing.
Okay, you've got the light. I've got my cake here. It doesn't have any candles, but at least we've got the cake going.
I can't line them all. Ted, can you help me line them?
Okay. Ted,
Ted.
there we go. Oh, look at that.
All right.
All right, so let's get those lit first. There we go. 95. She could have been still alive, you know? It's
Absolutely.
amazing. Okay.
All right. All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Flannery. Happy birthday to you.
Woo! All right.
All right. I'm going to have a piece of cake. I don't know about you.
She would think this is really goofy, you know that.
Oh, I think Flannery would have hated this.
Absolutely.
What we're doing. Although maybe with a little bit of a smirk too. So, yeah. So what do you think? What's next? Anything next that we need to tell our Flannery fans?
People, I see comments, people are wondering when they can see the film or if we're going to stream it anytime. And as we keep saying, we're going to be releasing excerpts of the film during this time as we're waiting, but we are in that mode where we are going out to festivals and screening in theaters and within a year it'll be your community, and we will put that on the list and try to get to your city or town. Just contact us through the Flannery Film website or via social media. So we want to get the film out there to all the excited people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so many people around the country I know at these different festivals have written you and me both. So that'll be exciting. I know we had to postpone a San Francisco one, which would have been wonderful at USF, our friends out there. We've had to postpone it in many places, but we will get there, and everyone is excited to kind of reschedule. So the last thing I'm going to say is today I'm going to have, apparently what was one of Flannery O'Connor's favorite drinks. I'm going to have a Coca-Cola with some coffee in it because that was her favorite drink. So if you want to do a little Flannery thing today, get your Coca-Cola and put a douse of black coffee in it. That's how she liked to drink it, apparently. So yeah. Well, this has been fun. I'm glad we could celebrate.
Absolutely. Good to see you, Mark. Thanks to Lisa and Jessica for making this happen for us online, and to everyone else who has joined us to think about Flannery O'Connor and to honor her on what would have been her 95th birthday. She's an inspiration to us all.
Absolutely. Okay, I think are we saying goodbye then? Is this it?
I think this could be it.
I think this is it. All right, good to see you, Elizabeth.
Yeah, good to see you too, Mark.
Stay healthy and well, and to everybody's
Thanks
watching.
everyone who joined us online. We'll have a recording and we'll keep this up for people in case they're interested in wishing.
Okay, everybody stay well now.
Okay, thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.